In the golden era of ancient Egypt, where the Nile flowed like the lifeblood of civilization and the gods ruled every facet of life, there emerged a queen whose name would resonate through the centuries, Nefertiti. Though her beauty was legendary, it was her intellect, political prowess, and unparalleled role in one of Egypt's most transformative periods that defined her. Her story is one of power, passion, and mystery, a tale intertwined with the reign of her husband, Pharaoh Akhenaten, and the religious revolution they sparked, a revolution that would reverberate long after their time. Nefertiti was born in the late 14th century BCE, in a time when Egypt's power was unrivaled. Though much of her early life remains shrouded in mystery, scholars believe she was the daughter of Ai, a high-ranking official, and a noble woman, likely related to royalty. This connection gave Nefertiti an early glimpse into the world of power and diplomacy, but it was her beauty and charisma that would eventually propel her to the throne beside one of Egypt's most ambitious rulers, Akhenaten. Her marriage to Akhenaten was not just a union of hearts, but a shared vision. Akhenaten, originally known as Amenhotep IV, sought to break with Egypt's ancient traditions. He envisioned a single, unified religion centered around the sun disk, Aten, rejecting the vast array of gods that had been worshipped for centuries. This radical shift, driven by both religious and political motives, would come to define Akhenaten's reign, and Nefertiti's involvement was crucial to the success of this transformation. In the first years of their rule, Akhenaten and Nefertiti were inseparable. They were depicted in royal art as equals, often shown side by side, their hands intertwined, their presence dominating the scenes. In these images, Nefertiti's elegance and regal demeanor were apparent. She stood proudly by her husband's side, a reflection of his divine authority, and perhaps, in many ways, a co-ruler in her own right. The couple's new capital, Akhetaten, modern-day Amarna, was not only a political move but a statement of their devotion to the Aten, the god that would replace all others. In these early years, Nefertiti was more than just a beautiful figurehead. She played an active role in the religious reforms, attending ceremonies and making public appearances that reinforced her connection to the Aten. Her image was often depicted alongside Akhenaten in temples and tombs, her graceful figure standing as a symbol of divine power. She was shown not just as a consort, but as a partner in the divine work of the king, performing rituals and overseeing ceremonies that further cemented her authority. Despite the grand vision Akhenaten had for Egypt, his religious reforms were deeply controversial. The power of the traditional priesthood was undermined, and many Egyptians, particularly those in the wealthy and powerful cities of Thebes and Memphis, resisted the drastic changes. The cult of Aten, centered in Akhetaten, was a direct challenge to the ancient god of Egypt, and its exclusive worship alienated many. Yet, Nefertiti stood resolute beside her husband, her unwavering support symbolizing the queen's strength and devotion to the Aten. Nefertiti's role as a queen was also marked by her active involvement in the political and diplomatic landscape of Egypt. Letters from her time reveal that she corresponded with foreign rulers, strengthening Egypt's political ties with other nations. Her intelligence and diplomacy were as significant as her beauty, and her image as a queen who could command the respect of kings and nobles alike was well established. The queen's beauty became legendary. Sculptures, reliefs, and paintings from the period captured her features in exquisite detail. Her long neck, high cheekbones, full lips, and striking eyes. The famous bust of Nefertiti, crafted by the sculptor Thutmose, remains one of the most iconic and well-preserved representations of her. The bust is a study in symmetry and elegance, and it continues to captivate art lovers and historians alike. But it is not just her physical beauty that has captivated people through the ages. It is the sense of power and grace she radiates, even in the stillness of stone. As Akhenaten's reign progressed, however, a subtle shift began to occur. Nefertiti's role, once central to the royal couple's political and religious life, began to diminish. There are periods during Akhenaten's rule where her presence in official records and inscriptions becomes scarce, and this has led to much speculation. Some believe that she may have taken on a co-regency with Akhenaten, perhaps even ruling as a pharaoh under the name Smenkhare after Akhenaten's death. Others suggest that she may have simply retreated from the public eye due to political pressures, or that her power was absorbed into the rising influence of her daughters and sons. One of the most enduring mysteries of Nefertiti's life is her eventual disappearance from the historical record. Some scholars argue that after Akhenaten's death, Nefertiti may have assumed a more prominent role as the de facto ruler, stepping into the void left by her husband's untimely demise. She may have ruled under the name Smenkhare, though evidence of this theory is sparse. If Nefertiti did rule as pharaoh, her reign would have been brief, and her name would have been obscured by later rulers who sought to erase the revolutionary changes of Akhenaten's reign. Despite the intrigue surrounding her later years, one fact remains. Nefertiti's image and influence did not fade entirely. Her daughters, particularly Ankhesenamun, would play important roles in the future of Egypt, and her legacy would live on through their actions. But it is Nefertiti herself who captured the imagination of historians and archaeologists in the modern age, especially after the discovery of her iconic bust in 1912 by German archaeologist Ludwig Borchardt. The discovery of the Nefertiti bust in the early 20th century sparked a renewed interest in her life and reign. The bust, which had been hidden for centuries in the ruins of Amarna, captivated the world. Its exquisite craftsmanship and the expression of quiet dignity it conveyed made Nefertiti one of the most iconic figures in ancient history. Today, the bust is housed in the Neues Museum in Berlin, where it continues to be one of the most visited and admired artifacts from ancient Egypt. Though much of Nefertiti's life remains a mystery, her legacy is clear. She was not merely the wife of Akhenaten. She was a ruler in her own right, a woman who helped steer Egypt through a time of profound change. Her role in the religious revolution, her image as a co-regent and partner, and her involvement in foreign diplomacy shaped the course of Egyptian history. Her life was not without controversy. Akhenaten's religious reforms were short-lived, and after his death, the traditional polytheism of Egypt was restored. The Aten was abandoned, and the priests of Ammonius, once marginalized, regained their power. Yet, the memory of Nefertiti endured. She was not forgotten in the sands of time. Instead, she was revered as a symbol of beauty, strength, and transformation. Over the centuries, Nefertiti's story has been told in countless ways, from ancient texts to modern interpretations in art, literature, and film. Her story is one of a queen who defied expectations, who helped shape the future of her nation, and whose beauty and intellect still inspire awe. In the face of political upheaval and religious revolution, Nefertiti stood as a figure of grace and power, a beacon of what it means to be both a ruler and a woman of substance. Today, as the world looks back at the reign of Akhenaten and Nefertiti, their story continues to captivate. The mystery of Nefertiti's later years only adds to her allure, keeping scholars and enthusiasts alike fascinated by the enigmatic queen who once stood at the heart of one of Egypt's most controversial and transformative periods. Her bust, her name, and her legacy have transcended time. Nefertiti, the beautiful one who came, remains one of the most enduring symbols of ancient Egypt. She was not just a queen, she was an icon. Her story continues to inspire, reminding us of the power and potential of women in history and the lasting impact one individual can have on the world.